since it's so hard to lay him out. Good right hand there by Vernon Forrest. Final seconds of round one. Well, at least we got through the first. Little chit-chat on the way to the corners.
Just like that.
Punch, Vernon. Everything off the jab and straight to the body. The hell with the nice guy shit. Okay? You're trying to be nice so you don't put them things on him, but we ain't got time for that. We've been nice.
Mora is known as a body puncher, but Vernon Forrest can dig down there as well. There's a ripping left hook to the body that may have impacted him, and then there's the right hand from Forrest, a punch that will be a very important weapon. So we saw two elements of Forrest's attack. There's that right hand that landed very, very effectively, and if there's a punch that's going to really hurt Mora and knock him out in this fight, it's that. Buddy McGirt in the corner of Vernon Forrest.
The former junior welterweight and welterweight champion, a no-nonsense guy. In the face of Vernon Forrest, he says, "You're trying to be nice? We ain't got time for that."
Yeah, and also in that corner, Al Mitchell, former Olympic trainer who is almost a co-trainer with McGirt, who's been working with Vernon Forrest forever. So he has a very, very talented and good corner, Vernon Forrest.
Round two scheduled for 12 for the WBC Super Welterweight crown. Vernon Forrest in the black with orange, Sergio Mora in the black with white trim. Forrest spending a lot of time in the first round on the outside. Let's see if he is more aggressive and comes forward and tries to get inside on the Latin Snake.
A few things happened in that first round that weren't very good for Sergio Mora. I think he was hit with harder punches than he would have liked and had a rough time throwing combinations, which I think is the key for Mora. He's going to have to be very busy to win this fight. First time we see Mora switch to lefty, which he can do, but now he comes back. Now that's what Mora needs to do. Throw a lot of punches on the inside, rip shots, even if they don't all get there. Be busy.
When Mora switches to lefty, Al, it's more for show. It's really not tremendously effective. And usually when a guy switches to the other side, he loses his power and accuracy. A chopping right by Mora goes nowhere.
We should remind ourselves, too, that this is the first fight back after a thumb injury for Sergio Mora. Ripped tendons in that thumb in the right hand, so we'll be looking to see if that right hand is continued to be thrown by him and landed.
Here's a chopping right, top of the head by Forrest. Yeah, he said it was fine going into this fight. Forrest said because of Mora's unpredictable style, you really have to stay focused.
Great uppercut by Forrest on the inside, even though Mora shakes his head. And, you know, I mentioned the Mora uppercut before the fight, but Vernon Forrest has a good one himself.
Yeah, Mora expecting perhaps the right, and he got the uppercut.
And, you know, even though Vernon Forrest is thought of as a really good outside fighter, he can fight on the inside as well, and showing evidence of that here early in this fight.
You know, you recall in his last fight, there's a good left hook there, upstairs by Sergio Mora. Vernon Forrest kind of lulled Michele Piccirillo. He held back on throwing his right and nailed him in the 11th round. Some good action here.
Mora is pressing the attack, but Forrest counterpunching very well.
Right hand by Forrest. And Mora indicating, you just grazed me. This is unquestionably a boxing match right now.
All right. Turn your legs around when you throw your right hand. Right? When he goes down there, hook to the body. Right hook to the body. In this round, I want you to throw the right hook to the body. Cover the uppercut. They've seen that. They're just dropping back and throwing the uppercut, right? If you turn your legs around, you'll beat him to the punch.
Sergio Mora has been known to move to the left-handed stance. And he does it here, and as Steve pointed out, it's mostly to give his opponent a different look. In this case, he stayed in it really only momentarily, but it could be a portent of things to come. And that actually allowed him to go in and land a punch or two, because for a second Forrest was discombobulated. But there's the uppercuts by Vernon Forrest and the work on the inside. As I mentioned, though he's not known as an inside fighter, Vernon Forrest can get the job done there. And, you know, Sergio Mora is shaking his head a lot, but he's not hurt, but he's getting hit with some big punches.
As we enter round number 3, Dean Campos in the corner of Sergio Mora, runs the Police Athletic League gym in East LA, also known as the Snake Pit, in honor of the Latin snake Sergio Mora.
Yeah, there's a lot of youngsters that come in and out of that gym, and the city of Montefiore donated the building, and it's a source of pride to Sergio Mora.
Great community center for the kids. Let's get over to Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, Steve, I talked to both these fighters before the fight. There's some animosity. Vernon Forrest said before the fight that he was a pretender, not a contender. Said that he was very upset with Jeff Wald, who is Mora's his promoter, because he has shot off his mouth quite a bit at the press conference. He said he's going to pay for that midget. I said, but you're not fighting a midget. He said, yes, but he's going to pay for it. I asked more about it. He says this diminishes Forrest in his eyes. He thought that Forrest was a classy guy, and it is out of character for Forrest. He's one of the nicest guys. But he said, really doesn't matter. Sometimes Wald gets underneath his skin as well, but be that as it may, he's on his side. And so that's why there's been so much animosity and a lot of bad talk, really, from a very nice guy, Vernon Forrest, before the fight, Steve.
Yeah, Jim, he seemed more upset at Jeff Wald than Sergio Mora, but in the tirade, he also promised that Mora will leave tonight on a stretcher. He says in today's world, this is Forrest, the venomous and outlandish statements make headlines, bring bigger fights and more money.
Yeah, we should also point out that Vernon Forrest's company has a piece of this promotion. So
excellent point. So was that Vernon Forrest, the promoter, talking, or Vernon Forrest, the fighter?
I think it was Vernon Forrest, the businessman, because you and I both know Vernon, and it's a stretch for him to even talk that way.
I personally prefer Vernon, the fighter.
Yeah, me too.
He's a lot nicer.
Yeah, he sure is.
Under a minute remaining, round 3.
Really, both these men are delightful to be around, and so that's one of the parts of boxing that sometimes you need to point out. You know, in this round, Mora is trying to get the action initiated on the inside and get some work done like that. But, you know, Forrest is throwing some thunderous body shots as well. Man, he's working the body.
All right, stop right there.
Sort of, it's a slow, methodical,
and behind the head, all right?
Workmanlike effort here by Forrest, and Richard Flaherty warning both, stop hitting behind the head. Final seconds of round 3.
All right, let him out. Stop. Let him out.
Forrest doing a good job of holding there on the inside.
It's behind the head.
That's the second warning for rabbit punches to Mora.
How you feeling, babe? Okay, stop looking for the home run. Okay, what you're doing is looking to land that one big bomb and get him out of there. Okay, what you got to do with this guy the same way you did the Petrol. You got to beat him down. Okay? And you got to pick him apart slowly. You're looking to land the one bomb. Okay?
Well, in the keys to victory, I said no wild punches. Don't look for a home run ball. Buddy McGirt just repeated those words. Here, the jab tries to set up the straight right hand, which almost lands. Not quite, but boy, it was close. But you see how it made Vernon Forrest off balance, and that's what Buddy McGirt doesn't like. If he'd have stayed on balance, that would have been okay for Forrest. Here on the inside, both men getting some good work done, but that left hook to the body by Forrest was really a terrific punch. But you see how Mora can work on the inside as well. I think this is where Sergio Mora needs to be to make this a winnable fight for himself.
And a good strategy for Mora. If you repeatedly throw the jab and straight right hand, that can land on Forrest, and Mora has a very pesky, snappy left jab. Also, you mentioned this last time we saw Forrest. After he throws the left hook to the body, it's a good hook, by the way, he sometimes leaves himself vulnerable.
Yeah, he really does. Pesky and snappy. I like that to describe a jab. It's very nice.
Sounds like my social life.
Don't hit. Watch the holding, guys.
Not really.
Well, you're snappy, that's for sure.
Thank you so much.
You know, Vernon Forrest getting those words from Buddy McGirt. What McGirt is talking about, of course, is for Vernon Forrest to put his punches together and not look for one punch that's going to end this fight. And when Vernon Forrest does that, he's just a very effective fighter.
Both have very fast hands. Now the infighting.
See, I think Vernon Forrest, there's that nice right hand from Sergio Mora. Look at Mora when he's on the inside, can be effective, and he rips that left hook. This is the place where Sergio Mora can set up his office and maybe get some things done in this fight. Once he's in there, he's got to be busy.
Mora is trying to beat a guy who hasn't lost in 5 years, though a little misleading since Forrest sat out 03 to 05 to repair the injuries to his shoulder and elbow.
And the interesting thing about Mora is he's never lost. Now, granted, he's not fought the competition of Forrest. Nice left hook, by the way, that just landed by Mora. He's having a pretty good round here, Sergio Mora. Maybe his best of the fight. Working on the inside, digging body shots, ripping left hooks to the head, and being aggressive.
Yeah, he's certainly not awed by